Born in Houston, Texas, on June 11, 1976, William Bill Klein is about 4 feet 5 inches tall and suffers from spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia, SED, a rare kind of bone dysplasia. SED is a hereditary condition that impacts bone formation, namely in the long bone ends and spine. Short stature, joint pain, spinal curvature, and difficulties with mobility are common outcomes. Although his illness caused physical limits, Bill's early diagnosis did not define his spirit or the course of his goals. Bill had the normal American childhood while growing up in Houston, but with the added challenges of a society that was not built for short people. He was frequently the only small person in his class in public schools. He experienced social isolation and bullying, yet he grew resilient at a young age. His parents, who were kind and realistic, urged him to emphasize his skills over his size. They gave him a solid work ethic and the conviction that he could accomplish anything he set his mind to. Bill did exceptionally well at school. He shone a special knack for computer systems and mathematics, which drew him to science and technology. He attended the University of Texas at Austin to pursue a degree in business administration with a concentration in information systems after graduating from high school. Inaccessible dorms, lecture halls without adequate accommodations, and social dynamics that occasionally alienated him were some of the additional problems that came with college life, but Bill adjusted. He developed a network of friends who appreciated his personality and intelligence rather than his height, learned to speak up for himself, and asked for acceptable accommodations. After graduating, Bill went into business. He started out in information technology, working for a number of Texas-based companies. He was able to move up the corporate ladder rather fast because to his technological expertise and business savvy. After serving as a systems analyst and an IT project manager, he was hired by a large healthcare company. His professional identity would be defined by his work in healthcare IT. The mid-2000s was the period when Bill's personal life started to change in a way he hadn't expected. He had long come to terms with the fact that romantic love might be hard to obtain. His own reserved personality and society's rigid expectations of physical normalcy made dating difficult. However, in 2006, Bill met Dr. Jennifer Arnold, a neonatologist who also had skeletal dysplasia, spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia congenita, or SEDC, on a small people dating website. Like Bill, Jennifer was quite successful. She was finishing up her neonatology fellowship at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, and she had a medical degree from Johns Hopkins University. After weeks of online communication, they finally met in person at a Barnes & Noble cafe. They were both anxious. They were both cautious. They soon discovered, however, that they had more in common than just a diagnosis. They had similar ideals, senses of humor, intelligence, and aspirations. Their bond grew rapidly. They became close since they had both overcome social and physical obstacles. They helped each other advance their careers, Jennifer in high-stakes neonatal medicine, Bill in corporate IT. Together, they made the trip. Together, they chuckled. And at the Houston Zoo, which they both adored for its accessibility and peaceful nooks, Bill proposed to Jennifer in 2007. Yes, she replied. The media took notice of their involvement. There weren't many well-educated professionals with dwarfism in the public eye at the time. The couple's careers and love story were highlighted in a piece published in a local Houston newspaper. A producer at the cable network TLC, the Learning Channel, which was creating a new reality show about little people, was drawn to that piece. The Little Couple, a documentary-style reality series that followed Bill and Jennifer's everyday lives, their occupations, their romance, their setbacks, and their victories, debuted on TLC in 2009. The program was revolutionary. It portrayed young people as complex, multifaceted individuals navigating relationships, employment, and motherhood in a society not designed for them, rather than as objects of curiosity. Bill had a variety of roles on the show. He was viewed by viewers as a caring father, a clever businessman, a humorous observer of life's oddities, and a loving partner. Jennifer's more serious, medically precise personality was counterbalanced by his calm manner and dry sense of humor. Because they were human, Not because they were small, they became sympathetic characters when combined. Major events were documented on the show, including their 2009 wedding, their attempts to conceive, including fertility treatments and the emotional roller coaster of adoption, the birth of their son, Will, through gestational surrogacy in 2013, the adoption of their daughter, Zoey, from China in 2014, and the numerous emotional, practical, and medical difficulties that came with being a parent with dwarfism. Bill took a very active role in raising his children. To make sure he could take care of his kids on his own, he modified car seats, installed step stools, and lowered worktops in his house. As an advocate for accessibility in parenting equipment, he frequently discussed with manufacturers how to create high chairs, strollers, and cribs that parents of all heights could use. Additionally, he became an outspoken advocate for inclusive schools and playgrounds, collaborating with neighborhood groups in Houston to make sure his kids and others like them could play and learn in settings that celebrated diversity. Bill's career was still thriving. Even though The Little Couple made him famous, he never let it overshadow his career. He continued working in healthcare IT, eventually becoming an executive. He helped hospitals and clinics switch from paper to digital medical records, EMR systems, an industry that exploded in the 2010s because of federal incentives for digitization. He was a sought-after consultant due to his expertise. He traveled regularly for work, managing family responsibilities with business travels, a juggling act that many working parents, regardless of status, are accustomed to. Bill and Jennifer underwent a major career change in 2015. They started a children's book series called Little Family by utilizing their platform and personal brand. Both authors co-wrote the books, which were intended to teach kids about inclusion, diversity, and overcoming obstacles. The Little Family Goes to the Doctor, Will's Big Game, and Zoey's New School were among the titles. The books were commended for their inclusive pictures and compassionate message, which featured people with a range of physical impairments. Additionally, they introduced a line of items, including t-shirts, mugs, and tote bags, with themes like Little But Mighty and Different is Beautiful. The money raised from these sales was frequently donated to organizations that support adoption, pediatric medical research, and little people. By establishing the Little Family Foundation, a non-profit organization devoted to enhancing the lives of kids with skeletal dysplasias and their families, Bill and Jennifer broadened their advocacy efforts in 2017. The organization financed summer camps for kids with dwarfism, funded accessibility improvements in public areas, and awarded grants for medical equipment. Bill oversaw operations, fundraising, and strategic alliances while serving as president of the foundation. Project Accessible Home, the foundation's main effort, gave grants to families so they could build stair lifts, roll-under sinks, ramps, and other adaptations to make living simpler for small people and people with mobility issues. In interviews, Bill frequently asserted that accessibility isn't a luxury, it's a right, and he devoted his life to helping others realize that idea. After 13 seasons, The Little Couple came to an end in 2022. The Kleins and TLC came to a mutual decision to terminate the series. Bill and Jennifer decided it was time to get their privacy back after spending over 10 years on camera. Will and Zoey, their kids, were approaching adolescence when many kids from reality TV start to rebel against the spotlight. That was respected by both Jennifer and Bill. They desired for their kids to be free to mature without the constraints of becoming TV kids. Bill stressed thankfulness in interviews announcing the show's termination. He remarked, "We're grateful to TLC, our viewers, and everyone who helped us. Our lives were transformed by this show. It provided us with a forum for advocacy, education, and global connections. However, family comes first. It's time to concentrate on that now, off camera." Bill has had a low public presence since the end of the program, but low is relative for someone with millions of social media followers. He and Jennifer continue to be active on Facebook and Instagram, sharing updates on their advocacy work, foundation, and family on occasion. However, people no longer record their everyday activities in real time. In their house, there are no camera crews. No producers plan their weekends. Their story is not shaped by editors. Bill is still employed in the healthcare IT industry. He is currently a senior leader for a large Houston-based healthcare technology company as of 2024. Interoperability, or making sure that various electronic health record systems can easily connect with one another, is the main emphasis of his work. It is a challenging, high-stakes field that is essential to lowering medical errors and increasing patient outcomes. Bill has a distinct viewpoint because of his technical and personal background. He recognizes the value of data accessibility from both a human and a systems perspective. He understands the challenges of navigating a disjointed and frequently inaccessible healthcare system as a patient or as a parent of a patient. Additionally, he still provides independent consultations, offering hospitals and clinics advice on accessibility in both digital and physical interfaces. He frequently participates on panels discussing patient-centered technology and inclusive design at medical technology conferences. His talks are renowned for fusing personal tales with technical knowledge, a unique blend that appeals to both engineers and medical professionals. The Klein household leads a busy yet grounded existence at home. In the Houston suburbs, Bill and Jennifer reside in a specially modified house that was created with accessibility in mind. They can live freely thanks to modifications like roll-under kitchen counters, lowered light switches, wide doors, and a master bedroom on the first floor. In addition, there is a toy-filled playroom, an accessible swing set in the backyard, and a garage that has been transformed into Bill's man cave, complete with video games, sports memorabilia, and a large-screen TV. Will, their 2013-born son, is currently 11 years old. He has skeletal dysplasia, namely pseudoachondroplasia, which is distinct from that of Bill and Jennifer, just like his parents. He loves baseball and is gregarious and active. Coaches have worked with Bill to modify equipment, such as smaller gloves and shorter pitching mounds, so that Will may play on the local Little League team. Bill frequently coaches from the dugout or cheers from the bleachers during games. Zoey, their 10-year-old daughter, was adopted from China in 2014. The fact that she does not have dwarfism originally worried Bill and Jennifer. They were concerned about how she would fit in with a household where everyone had various appearances. By all accounts, however, Zoey has welcomed her family with humor and grace. She is talented, enjoys painting and drawing, and won a school art competition with her family portrait, My Little Big Family. She also reads a lot and has indicated interest in becoming a teacher, a career that Bill and Jennifer wholeheartedly endorse. Bill tackles the difficult chore of raising two preteens with the same humor and pragmatism that characterized his TV image. He drives the children to practices and playdates, assists with homework, especially in his strong areas of math and physics, and, like any father, argues with them over screen time and sleep on occasion. In interviews, he has discussed the difficulties of raising young children, such as climbing high shelves, fastening car seats, and keeping up with active children on playgrounds. However, he presents these difficulties as tasks to be overcome rather than as burdens. You adjust to it, he says. You locate tools. When you need assistance, you ask for it. Additionally, you teach your children to follow suit. In terms of his health, Bill uses physical therapy, pain medication, and sporadic operations to treat his SED. He has joint pain, especially in his knees and hips, like many others with skeletal dysplasia. A frequent surgery for adults with SED, he has had several hip replacements and expects to have more joint procedures in the future. These facts are not concealed by him. He has used social media to inform people about living with dwarfism by sharing pictures from hospital stays, recovery rooms, and physical therapy sessions. He posted a picture from a hospital bed with the remark, "This is part of my life." It's hardly a glamorous affair. However, it is real. And I'm appreciative of the family, physicians, and nurses who helped me get through it. Additionally, he supports mental health, especially among the underprivileged. He has been candid about the anxiety and sadness he went through in his 20s, before he met Jennifer, before he became famous, before he became a father, when he felt alone and unsure of his future. He exhorts people to discuss candidly about their difficulties, establish support systems, and pursue therapy. He asserts that being small does not make you immune to mental health challenges. And asking for assistance does not imply weakness. You become human because of it. Bill and Jennifer wrote a joint memoir in 2023 called Little But Strong: Our Journey Through Love, Parenthood, and Life Beyond the Camera. It discusses their respective upbringings, how they met, how they became famous, how they became parents, and why they decided to quit reality TV. It differs from their TV shows' carefully manicured narratives in that it is open, humorous, and intensely intimate. Bill's chapters center on his professional background, his identity as a father, and his developing perspectives on disability and masculinity. He writes, "I used to think strength meant never asking for help. I now understand that it entails having the guts to ask for help when you need it." The book was well reviewed and commended for its warmth and honesty. After it became a bestseller in the parenting and memoir genres, the pair started a small book tour, stopping at libraries, bookshops, and disability advocacy gatherings all across the nation. They scheduled Q&A sessions at each stop, frequently remaining for hours after the official event concluded to speak with fans, sign books, and take pictures. Bill has no intention of slowing down in the future. He still serves as the director of the Little Family Foundation, which intends to broaden its award offerings to include applicants from other countries. In order to finance research on skeletal dysplasias, he is looking into collaborations with academic institutions, especially those that address pain management and maintaining mobility in maturity. Along with providing career guidance and networking opportunities via LinkedIn and in-person meetings, he is also mentoring young professionals with dwarfism. He is still wed to Jennifer, with whom he has been married for almost 20 years. By all accounts, they have a solid relationship. They have endured the physical hardships of their conditions, the demands of parenthood, the pressures of celebrity, difficulties with fertility, and the bureaucracy of adoption. They attribute their longevity in interviews to open communication, respect for one another, and a common sense of humor. "We have a lot of laughter," Bill explains. Especially, in difficult times. Although they now take more relaxed trips, beach vacations, walks in national parks with accessible paths, and visits to relatives and friends, they still travel together. They quietly commemorate anniversaries with a movie, dinner at home, or perhaps a weekend trip. After years in the spotlight, they've learned to value the everyday moments. What about the future? Bill doesn't make big statements. He makes no mention of going back to TV. He doesn't hint at upcoming business endeavors. He talks about being there instead, attending his wife's milestones, his children's games, and the activities of his charity. He discusses legacy in terms of impact rather than notoriety or wealth. "I want my children to look back and know that we gave it our all," he says. "I hope the foundation survives my lifetime. I want people to think capable, not cute, when they see small people." He also wants to publish more, maybe a book that just discusses his viewpoint as a parent of a child with dwarfism or an inclusive design manual for companies. He is thinking about giving guest lectures on disability advocacy or healthcare IT at universities. Nothing has been ruled out by him. He's not in a rush, though. He's not living on a production schedule for the first time in his adult life. Network executives are not his bosses. He has to answer to his conscience, his family, and himself. Bill Klein is 48 years old in 2024. He's a husband, a dad, a medical executive, a leader in charity, a writer, an advocate, a guide. Neither his height nor his history on television define him. His decisions, to work hard, to speak up, to adapt, to persevere, and to love deeply, define him. The gentle hum of daily life, Legos, laughter, and dog toys. The family has a golden retriever named Sunny, fill his Houston, Texas, home. He reads bedtime tales, attends parent-teacher conferences, helps prepare school lunches, goes to baseball games, drinks coffee in the morning, checks his work email, and sleeps next to the woman he has been in love with for almost 20 years. He acknowledges that he is right where he wants to be.